Welcome to Junior Journalist TV. I'm your host, Jayden. Today we're going to interview Zeca Lacerda, a percussionist in Singapore. Thank you for letting us interview you.
Thank you for having me here.
Okay, what country are you from and how does it influence your music?
Okay, my country is Brazil. I'm from Brazil. It's a huge country in South America, and probably because it's really big, we have so many different kinds of music there. And I grew up listening to that kind of music. I could say samba, baião, maracatu, bossa nova. There's many kinds of music. MPB is another one that's great. So I grew up listening to that music. So I think naturally it ends up influencing the kind of music I like to play and the kind of music I play.
Okay, what have you learned from your travels?
This is a great question. Well, I did all my music studies, like graduate after university. I did it in the States, so I lived there for a while, and but I also have traveled many other places in the world. I guess the way it influences me is by checking the local culture in every place I go. I think that always adds to my musical vocabulary, right? So I get influenced a little bit by this kind of music or that kind of music. I ended up listening to that kind of music, and I think it naturally ends up influencing me. So in the States, I learned a lot of classical contemporary music. So that was a big part of my music education and my artistry too. Like I love playing classical contemporary music as well as Brazilian music and jazz, etc.
What is your favorite instrument?
That changes a lot because percussion, it's not one instrument, right? It's a family of instruments. It's like saying brass instruments, right? Or wind instruments. So there's many different percussion instruments. Currently, my favorite is the drum set or the drum kit, like they say here in Singapore, right? So the drum set. But in the past, for instance, there was a time in my life where my favorite instrument was the timpani. It's this huge drums that are played with the symphony orchestras. They have this oval body like this, and they're super big. So the timpani has been my favorite percussion instrument in the past. Also, there was a time in my life where my favorite instrument was the marimba. So it's a keyboard percussion instrument similar to the xylophone, but much bigger. So it changes, but currently is the drum set.
What other instrument except for percussion instruments do you play?
That's a tricky one. I've played a little bit of guitar, acoustic guitar, when I was a kid. Also, in college, I had to learn a little bit of piano. But my main focus is percussion because, like I said, it's such a vast family of instruments. There's so many different percussion instruments that I end up focusing more on percussion. But I guess a little bit piano and guitar.
So, who is your favorite composer to work with?
My favorite composer to work with is this guy. His name is Stuart Saunders Smith. I worked a lot with him in the United States. You can even look him up. He has this really long beard. He's kind of like a strange guy in a way, but his music is so personal. Like when you listen to his music, you have no doubt that's Stuart Saunders Smith's music. Even if he's composing in different styles, he still has his, so to speak, like his DNA there. Like he's a very unique composer.
Okay, where did you get your inspiration to play percussion?
My inspiration to play percussion, that's interesting. I think my brother already played the guitar, and I had some other cousins playing the guitar, so I wanted to learn a very different instrument so I could play with them, have a band. So I started practicing the drum set. I enrolled in a little independent school in my hometown and started getting drum set lessons. And I just fell in love with it, started liking different kinds of music. And then it came to look for a university degree. I wanted to pursue music. And in Brazil, my home country, the closest to drum set that I could get in university education was the classical percussion. So I started liking also the classical percussion instruments, like some of which I have already mentioned, like the marimba, the timpani, the vibraphone, etc. And nowadays I like it all. I like the classical percussion, I like the folk percussion, I like the drum set, everything.
Okay, what is a fun memory you have of performing live?
There's just so many. I think I'm gonna mention this one. When I was in my undergraduate studies, I gave the solo recital, right? I have the stage all prepared with all these different instruments, and I was going to play all these different pieces, and it just like it felt like I was in a flow, like the whole recital, instead of getting nervous because I was playing a solo recital, the whole recital went by super fast. And like I felt like I was in a flow. I almost did no mistakes, and it was so emotional at the end that I started crying. So I guess that was a really good performing experience. And then much later on, during my graduate studies in the United States, I had the chance to tour and play in different universities. Like I would drive my car and go to different places to perform. So that was a lot of fun too.
Okay, what advice would you give to others?
Advice that I would give to others: if you want to be a musician, I'd say have your heart open to as many different sources that you can get inspiration from, and never be narrow-minded. Try to learn from every single experience you have, and also from all your music instructors. And the second advice, and that is, if you want to be a musician, right, practice a lot from the start, so you don't regret later, oh, maybe I should have practiced more. So yes, that is if you want to be a musician, of course.
Yes. Can you show me something on one of your percussion instruments?
Sure. Like I said, this is my studio is in an apartment, so my instruments, for instance, the drum set instruments, they're all muffled with these rubber pads, as you can see on top of them. So they don't have much sound, but I can show a little bit. So this would be drum set, little bit of drum set. I can show you a little bit of the other instruments. The pandeiro, it's a Brazilian instrument that is used to play a lot in samba. It's like this really narrow drum with some jingles, right? So this is the pandeiro. I have the marimba. Look at the marimba. So it is really big keyboard percussion instrument. I can play it with two mallets, like this. So I can also play it with four mallets. marimba with 4 mallets. It's the vibraphone. This instrument right here. The vibraphone is interesting because the bars, instead of being made out of wood, like the marimba, they are made out of metal, aluminum. And it has a pedal here, down here, that I can press with my right foot, so the bars ring longer. So this is the vibraphone.
Nice. I like the drum set the most.
Oh, cool. Yeah, currently that's my favorite too.
Is there anything else you would like to tell our audience?
I think first of all, thank you so much for the interview. I love to share my music. So I guess I'd say maybe if you wanna check out more of my music, you can look it up on YouTube. Like I have a lot of videos there of my music performances there. Other than that, like I said before, always try to learn from every single experience you have, regardless if you want to be a musician or not, but always have your ears open to listen to different feedback and study hard.
Thank you for sharing with me and Junior Journalist TV. Bye!
Bye bye. Thank you.